ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 The Mangalacharan prayers together. ॐ
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
तस्मै
तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले
स्वयं
स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्।
वन्दे
वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो
श्रीयुतां
श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते
गोपेश
गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी
राधे
राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
नमः
नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले
श्रीमते
श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे
गौरवाणी
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
निर्विशेष
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी
पाश्चात्य
पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे।
जय श्री
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु
प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौरभक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। हरे कृष्ण किरण प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण।
Yeah, so this is what we studied last week. त्रैविद्या मां सोमपापूतपाप यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देव भोगान्. That people who study the Vedas and drink soma juice, we saw that soma juice is not something that people in generally call it. It is a very transcendental or nectarian juice that gives you strength and that also gives you ability to go to Swargaloka. So they seek heavenly planets and worship me indirectly. So they worship Krishna indirectly by worshipping the different demigods and study Vedas and drinking soma juice. And they are also purified of sinful reactions and they get birth in the pious heavenly planets of Indra. So they go to Swargaloka, Surendra Loka म्हटले ते, where they enjoy godly delights. But what happens when they go there? So they enjoy tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam. They enjoy the swargaloka. So when they have thus enjoyed the vast heavenly sense pleasure, kshine punne martyalokam vishanti. And the results of their pious activities, their punya, are exhausted when it becomes kshina. Then they come back to the martyaloka. And evam trai dharma manu prapanna gata gatam kama kamalabhanti. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment kama kama. By adhering the principles of three Vedas, they achieve only gata agata, repeated birth and death, going and coming again and again. Okay, so that's what their destination is. So today we are going to start with verse 22, which is one of the very beautiful verse, and that will also remind you of something that we see in Bharat. Yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmy. So let's recite this verse. Ananyāś cintayanto mam.
ananyāś cintayanto mam.
Ananyāś cintayanto mam.
ananyāś cintayanto mam.
Ye janāḥ paryupāsate.
ye janāḥ paryupāsate.
teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ.
teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ.
yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham.
yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham.
Ananyāś cintayanto mam.
ananyāś cintayanto mam.
Ye janāḥ paryupāsate.
ye janāḥ paryupāsate.
teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ.
teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ.
yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham.
yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham.
Sonu Prabhu, you want to?
ananyāś cintayanto mam.
Ananyāś cintayanto mam.
ye janāḥ paryupāsate.
Ye janāḥ paryupāsate.
teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ.
teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ.
yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham.
yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham. Bapu Prabhu, can you lead?
Yeah. Ananyāś cintayanto mam.
ananyāś cintayanto mam.
ye janāḥ paryupāsate.
ye janāḥ paryupāsate.
teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ.
teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ.
yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham.
yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, word for meaning here is ananya, means having no other object. Ananya. Chintayaha means concentrating or thinking always. Mam means on me. Krishna is saying this. So, on Krishna. Ye means those who. Janāḥ means persons. Paryupāsate, properly worship. Teṣāṁ, of them. Nitya means always. Abhiyuktānāṁ, fixed in devotion. Yoga means requirements. Kṣema means protection. And vahāmy means carry out. And aham means I. Again, this is Krishna here when he is saying aham. Translation. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So what Krishna is saying here is, when somebody is always thinking of me, ananya bhavane माझं जे चिंतन करतो आणि माझी भक्ती करतो, उपासना करतो, ये जना, जे लोक माझे अनन्य भावाने कायम चिंतन करतात आणि माझी भक्ती करतात, paryupāsate, teṣāṁ, to those nitya abhiyuktānāṁ, who are always engaged in this kind of devotional service, this kind of bhakti, yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyam, I protect what they have and I give them what they need. Yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyam. If you remember this phrase, this quarter of the shloka is used by LIC for their promotion in India, Life Insurance Corporation of India. If you remember this, yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmy aham. So LIC says that we protect you, जिंदगी के पहले भी, जिंदगी के बाद भी. So that's where Krishna is. So they took this from Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is saying that I protect what they have and I give them what they need. I preserve what they have and I carry out what they lack. So let's read the purport and we'll get a little bit more deep into this. Kiran Prabhu, you want to read the purport, please?
One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day. Being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies, which make the devotee perfect in self-realization, so that his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. This is called yoga. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to this material condition of life. Kṣema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a merciful conditioned life.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So the qualification for Krishna protecting us is what? Ananyāś cintayanto mam yajana paryupāsate. So one who is unable to live for even a moment without Krishna consciousness and cannot think of but Krishna 24 hours a day, being engaged in his devotional service. And then the devotional service, we talked about these devotional processes here, which Prahlad Maharaj explains in the Srimad Bhagavatam. What are the 9 devotional processes here? Shravanam means hearing, Kirtanam means chanting, Smaranam means remembering, offering prayers, Vandanam, worshipping, Archanam, serving the lotus feet, Pada Sevanam, rendering service, Dasyam, cultivating friendships is Sakhyam, and surrendering fully to the Lord, Atma-nivedanam. So these are the 9 processes, 9 different, Navavidha-bhakti म्हणून जे म्हटलंय, तो 9 processes या श्रीमद भागवतमच्या 7व्या कॅन्टोमध्ये. So 5व्या अध्यायात 23rd and 24th श्लोक Prahlad says here. So he's talking to I think he's talking to his father Hiranyakashipu. So that's where he refers it. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam. So Shravanam and Kirtanam of whom? Vishnu, not any other demigod or not any other thing. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, then his Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. Iti Pumsar Pita Vishnu Bhaktische Navalakshana. Navalakshana Bhakti. 9 different, these are the 9 processes if you count them. So, Kriyeta Bhagavatyadha Tanmanne Dhitamuttama. So, one who engages, a person who engages in the bhakti of Vishnu by these 9 lakshana, 9 different processes, he is the best person. He is the most learned or intelligent person. So, Prahlad Maharaj says here, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering him, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, and considering Lord one's best friend and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with body, mind, and words. So that is Atma-nivedanam. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna or Vishnu through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. Kriyeta Bhagavati Adha. Tanmanne Dhitam Adhitam Uttamam. He is the best person in all learned persons. Uttama, this is the topmost learning. So this is the real education, according to our scriptures, that Prahlad Maharaj is giving to us. So this is what Prabhupada refers to here. So by engaging this way, when one engages in Krishna's service, what does Krishna tell? He's telling, yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmy aham. I give him what he wants, and I protect him from anything that what he has. I preserve what they have. So such activities are very auspicious and full of spiritual potencies. So by engaging, so what we are doing is actually couple of these processes. We are hearing about the Lord and instruction given by the Lord himself. We are hearing or referring back to Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita is the instruction given by Krishna himself. Bhagavad Gita is what Krishna says. And Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam is what Krishna does, or it's about Krishna's different pastimes. So, and his devotees. So we read the verse where Prahlad Maharaj, he is his devotee. So what his pastimes, or what his lila is, and how Krishna is protecting him when his father himself is trying to kill him by different ways. So right now, we are all hearing and chanting. We are already engaged for this hour every week in hearing and chanting. So that is also considered as the couple of processes of bhakti. We are engaged in bhakti of Krishna by hearing his instructions from the Bhagavad Gita, or hearing his pastimes or his devotees' pastimes from different scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam. And I am speaking, you are speaking, sometimes we are all speaking and hearing. So that is Shravanam Kirtanam. And when we go after this, when we are thinking about him or thinking what we learned from him, that is also remembering. So bhakti is not very difficult, but it is, we have to exclusively engage in bhakti process. So these are the bhakti processes, Navavida bhakti processes. And what it is said here, these activities are very auspicious and full of spiritual potencies. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Shrunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyantastoya Vadrani Vidunoti Surutsatam. That Shrunvatam Swakatha Krishna, when one hears Krishna Katha from an authorized person who is coming from disciplic succession, it is Punya Shravana Kirtana. So his chanting and glorying is very pious activity. What does it do? Vidunoti Surutsatam. So it purifies our heart. It cleanses our heart from so much calamity, so much wrong desires or anarthas we are carrying from so many lifetimes in our consciousness. It cleanses our heart. Cheto darpana marjanam. So that's what it is, very auspicious and full of spiritual potencies. It gives us opportunity to grow on our spiritual path, which make the devotee perfect in self-realization, so that he has only desire to achieve association of Krishna and his devotees. All other desires are eradicated because they are all impure desires actually. So the whole process is not to remove desire, but to purify our desires. We have so many desires for so many things. But because we do not have the right desire to serve Krishna, that's why we are stuck in this material entanglement of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. And we are suffering again and again by getting different kinds of birth. So, but by the mercy of Lord Krishna, such devotee never comes back to this cycle of birth and death. And because Krishna says he is the one who protects what he has, and he also gives what he has. But the most important thing that Krishna helps in devotee is that he protects us from falling down from our spiritual path. he sees that a devotee or bhakta is very sincerely seeking after me, seeking after Krishna, and then he makes sure that he gets the proper association, proper guidance, and he creates the environment that that person particularly progresses, makes advancement on the spiritual path, and does not fall down from that path. So that Krishna makes those arrangements. So that's why he protects us, not only giving us material benefits and material opulences, but also from our spiritual path, because that's the benefit of worshipping Krishna, and that's the difference between worshipping Krishna and other devatas. When we worship other devatas, they satisfy our material desires if we worship them perfectly according to the rules and regulations given in the Vedic literature. But the results or the fruits what we get from worshipping the devatas, they are temporary and they are material. But the results what Krishna gives us, they are permanent and they last even in the next future lives. They do not finish in this life. So if I have done say somebody has done say 3% progress in his Krishna consciousness or bhakti, and unfortunately he cannot finish it. So in the next birth, he starts from the 4%. That 3% is already he is carrying with him spiritually. But from material point of view, even if I have earned few $1 million here, when I die, in the next birth, I have to start from zero again. I cannot carry that material opulence in next birth unless I have done something worship, and then that I get that specific birth in a Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijayate. Krishna says in the 6th chapter, right? Person who falls down on this path, he gets birth in a Shuchi, means cleanly, like Brahminical family, or Srimatam, or aristocratic family, so that he doesn't have to worry about his yoga-kṣemaṁ, his maintenance of material needs, maintenance of body and other material needs. So Krishna protects him to fall down from the miserable conditional life of this material world. So that's the guarantee Krishna gives here also and in many other places. So for this particular verse, actually, Prabhupada shares a very beautiful story. So there was a sage named as Arjunacharya, and he was very staunch devotee of Krishna. He used to live in his ashram with his wife, and he would read from Bhagavad Gita and write his commentary on those. So when he was reading this verse, and when he read that, okay, Krishna says that if somebody worships me with exclusive devotion, I carry out yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmy aham. So that's Arjunacharya had a doubt in his mind, because he knew Krishna's position. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is Bhagavan himself. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have any work to do. Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. So if he doesn't have to do anything, he said, for a devotee, if he needs some small things here and there, why should Krishna come and give him personally? Why should he say aham? He can engage he has so many agents in the form of devatas, he has energies in the form of spiritual energy, material energy. So he has his multi-energy. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. So he can engage any devata for maintaining this devotee and give him all the protection. So what he did is he had the doubt and he strike through that particular word, that yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmy. And he said, okay, Krishna may send somebody to protect that particular devotee, to fulfill his material needs. Okay? And then he was done with that day, and then he told his wife that, okay, I'm going to take bath on the river. And he went to take bath on the river. After he left, there are a couple of boys, very young, beautiful, very opulent boys. They come to his ashram, and they were carrying on the back lots of opulent stuff, fruits and all the necessary things, very opulent. and all the necessary things that a grihastha will need. So they came and then they met his wife. And his wife said, "Oh, you are so young, small boys. Why are you carrying so much burden?" So he said, "No, your husband, Acharya, he's so angry with us, and he doesn't believe us that we work. And he said that, oh, we don't do any work, and that's why he engaged us in this work. So he asked us to bring all this stuff for and deliver it to you at your place. And he was so angry with us that he even beat us on the back." So they showed back, and there was a big scratch on the back. There was very like a beaten mark on the back. So she said, "No, my husband is not like that. He would not do that. Arjunacharya is not like that." So she asked them to stay and take something, but they said, "No, if we stay here and he will say we are lazy, we are not working enough, we have to go back and take care of other things." So they left immediately. So after some time, when Arjunacharya came back, so his wife said, how did you why are you beating those young, nice kids? They were such a nice kids, and then you were angry with them. So he said, "Which kids? What happened?" And then she narrated the whole story that they brought all that stuff. So he saw all the opulent stuff that they brought, and they brought all the necessary things that a grihastha will need, and they delivered on the back. And he said, "I did not ask anybody." And then she said, "No, they were telling that you also beat them," and then there was a big scratch mark on the back of them, on their back. And after thinking for a while, he realized, oh, this morning he was studying this verse, and then he scratched that part of the verse, yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyam. And then he showed it to his wife. "Was that beating like this shape? The scratch I marked on this?" And she said, "Yes, it was just like this." Then he started crying. Then he started crying, and then he said, "Oh Krishna, I made a blunder. That you said that you take care of your devotees, and I doubted you. I doubted that you personally take care, and you showed that to teach me a lesson. You showed that you are the one who really personally takes care of them." So it was Krishna and Balaram. They came and delivered that stuff to his house. So that was the pastime. So that's how Krishna says, when he says that yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyam, I personally take care of them, he is the one who personally takes care of his devotees. And we see even in our Maharashtra, Santa, there are so many places we see so many pastimes that when Janabai, she was grinding the grains on the जातं म्हणतो आपण त्याला, दळत होते. So Krishna used to come with us and help her. And there are so many different pastimes that Krishna personally came and helped the devotees because they dedicated their life to Krishna. So that when he says yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyam, he is the one who personally takes care of his devotees. So that's what it is. What time is it? 10:10. So any thoughts, Prabhuji, on that? Hare Krishna, Madhu Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Shantaram. Hey, Sunil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mhm.
Hare Krishna, Radharanjan Das Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So this is the verse we are reading, Prabhuji. ananyāś cintayanto mam ye janāḥ paryupāsate teṣāṁ nityābhiyuktānāṁ yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyam. Krishna says that those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, ananya, and cintayanto, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Yoga-kṣemaṁ vahāmyaham. So doing service to Krishna is the best insurance policy one can have. And the premium is very simple. So any thoughts, Prabhuji? Any reflections? You want to read the next verse? Maybe, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. Can we do that? What time is it? 11. And then we'll do a chant.
Yes.
Okay. So,
I am okay.
okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So, let's read the next verse. Ye'pyanya-devatā-bhaktā
epyanya-devatā-bhaktā
yajante śraddhayānvitāḥ
yajante śraddhayānvitāḥ
tepi māmeva kaunteya
tepi māmeva kaunteya
yajantya avidhi-pūrvakam
yajantya avidhi-pūrvakam
ye'pyanya-devatā-bhaktā
epyanya-devatā-bhaktā
yajante śraddhayānvitāḥ
yajante śraddhayānvitāḥ
tepi māmeva kaunteya
tepi māmeva kaunteya
yajantya avidhi-pūrvakam.
yajantya avidhi-pūrvakam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Sunil Prabhuji, is Gandhali Mataji there?
Oh, I did.
येऽप्यन्यदेवता-भक्ता
epyanya-devatā-bhaktā
यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः
yajante śraddhayānvitāḥ
तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय
tepi māmeva kaunteya
यजन्तो विधिपूर्वकम्
yajantya avidhi-pūrvakam.
Okay, Krushali is going to recite.
येऽप्यन्यदेवता-भक्ता
epyanya-devatā-bhaktā
यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः
yajante śraddhayānvitāḥ
तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय
tepi māmeva kaunteya
यजन्त्य अविधिपूर्वकम्
yajantya avidhi-pūrvakam.
So much. Hare Krishna. So, word for word meaning. Ye means those who. Api means also. Anya means of other. Devata means gods. Bhakta means devotees. Yajante means worship. Śraddhayānvitāḥ means with faith, with Shraddha. Te means they. Api means also. Mam means Krishna is saying to him, me. Eva means only. Kaunteya means he is referring to Arjuna here, O son of Kuntī. Yajanti means they worship. Avidhi-pūrvakam means in a wrong way, in an improper way. So, in the previous verse, he said that those who worship him, ananyāś cintayanto mam ye janāḥ paryupāsate. What is their destination? Krishna himself takes care of them. And what about the other devatas then? The question might come that there are so many other devatas. If there are devotees of other devatas, what happens to them? So he's saying here, those who are the devotees of other gods, ye api anya-devatā-bhaktā, who worship them with faith, yajante śraddhayānvitāḥ, actually worship only me. Te api māmeva kaunteya yajante. Te api mam eva. They are also actually worshipping me only. O son of Kuntī, hey Kaunteya, but they do so in a wrong way or improper way. Yajante avidhi-pūrvakam. So the actual vidhi is to Krishna is the only worshipable deity. All other devatas can be worshipped, but they are for material gain only. To actually get out of the cycle of birth and death, only Krishna has that authority, or he is the only one who can get us out of this entanglement of material world. So let's read the purport, small purport, but this is very deep. So let's read this. Sunil Prabhu, you want to read the purport, Prabhu?
Persons who are engaged in the worship of demigods are not very intelligent, although such worship is offered to me indirectly. Krishna says, for example, when a man pours water on the leaves and branches of a tree without pouring water on the root, he does so without sufficient knowledge or without observing regulative principles. Similarly, the process of rendering service to different parts of the body is to supply food to the stomach. The demigods are, so to speak, different officers and directors in the government of the Supreme Lord. One has to follow the laws made by the government, not by the officers or directors. Similarly, everyone is to offer his worship to the Supreme Lord only. That will automatically satisfy the different officers and directors of the Lord. The officers and the directors are engaged as representatives of the government, and to offer some bribe to the officers and directors is illegal. This is stated here as avidhi-pūrvakam. In other words, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of the demigods.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So this is very bold statement actually Krishna is making here, that you don't have to worship other devatas or unnecessary worship. That is the key. You can worship, but what you are asking for in that worship is the key point. If you are asking for material gain, then that is going to keep you in this material world forever. And also in the 7th chapter, we already read, right, from the 20th verse. So let me go to Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 20 to 20, next few verses, couple of 2-3 verses. What does Krishna say? We can see the Sanskrit also. Once view. And let's go to verse 20. So which type of people worship the demigods? So he says, Kamaistaistharitagnyana prapadyantin nidevata tam niyamamastaya prakrutya niyatasvaya. So Kamaistaistharitagnyana. Whoever, tai means whoever has desire, kama, to enjoy senses, enjoy through senses, they are considered as ऋतज्ञाना. ऋत म्हणजे अपहरण जे आपण म्हणतो, तो word comes from ऋत. So ऋतज्ञाना, their knowledge has been stolen by Maya. So that type of people, prapadyante anya-devatā, they are the one who worship anya-devatā. And what do they do then? Tam niyamam astaya prakrutya niyata svaya. So they surrender to, by following niyama, by following rules and regulation, by their nature, they worship the different demigods according to their own nature. By following the rules and regulations, they worship those demigods because they have material desires. I want something. I want dhanam dehi, rupam dehi, rupavati, bharya dehi. I want. So they are asking for many things. But Krishna is in our hearts. He knows our desires, even though we don't ask him. So what does he do? Because he wants to fulfill our desire, yo yam tanum bhakti, śraddhayānvitāḥ. Whoever, whatever desire he has, yo yam, whatever bhakta desire he has, and whatever devata he wants to worship, what does he do? Tasya achalam śraddhāṁ. I make his shraddha fixed on that particular devata. Tameva vidadhami aham. So I am in everyone's heart as super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, if somebody wants to worship Ganesha, Shiva, Durga Devi, Lakshmi ji, anybody, to fulfill certain desire, Krishna is in our heart. He is the one who knows our desire. So he finds that, oh, this person has a desire. So he makes our shraddha dhrud on that particular devata. I make his faith steady. Tasya achalam shraddha. He makes our shraddha achal on that particular devata, so that they can devote himself to that particular devata. So he is the one who makes our shraddha. Then Sataya śraddhaya yuktas tasya aradhanam ihate. With such faith, when he engages in the aradhana of that particular devata, and then by worshipping that devata, does that devata satisfies his needs? Yes. So devatas are empowered by Krishna to fulfill the desires of the people who worship them. They are given certain kind of what they ask. Devatas can give certain things, whatever they are empowered with. They cannot give liberation from this material entanglement. That only Krishna can give, or his devotee. So labhate cha tatak kaman. So their kama or desire is fulfilled. But how? Mayaiva vihitan hitan. Only by approval of Krishna. It is actually fulfilled only by Krishna through the medium of Devata. He says, endowed with such faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and he obtains his desires. But actually, these benefits are bestowed by me alone because he is the only supreme source of everything. Even the devatas are dependent on him. And then he says, antavattu phalam teṣāṁ. The phala or result, whatever he achieves by getting from devata, what type of phala is that? Antavattu. It has an end. It is temporary. And then तद्भवति अल्पमेधसाम. त्यांना मिळतं ते, पण कुठल्या प्रकारच्या लोकांना? They are called as अल्पमेधसाम. Medha means brain substance. So they have alpa, very limited brain substance. Basically, Krishna is calling them less intelligent people. Devan deva yajo yanti madbhakta yanti mam api. So the worshippers of the devas or devatas, they go to their planet, the different Swarga lokas, which we saw last week, that Swarga loka going is temporary because kshine punye marta lokam vishanti. They come back again. So Devan Deva Yajoyanti, whoever is worshipping different devata, they go to in their respective planets by their worship. And then they enjoy their results of pious activities and then they fall down again. But Mad Bhakta, one who is my Bhakta, my devotees, Yanti Mam Api, they come to me only. So men of small intelligence worship demigods, the Alpamedasam, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Antavattu phalam teṣāṁ. Those who worship the demigods, they go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. And Krishna in many places said that whoever comes to me, they never come back to this material world, which is he calls as dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So that's why he calls in this 9th chapter, the verse 23rd we are reading as that worship of other devatas is avidhi-pūrvakam. It is not proper worship, but it is improper worship. Okay. Thank you so much, Kiran Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So I think
Hare
I
Krishna,
will just
Prabhuji.
stop there and get some reflections or any thought, because there are so many things. I will probably send one verse from Bhagavatam, which you can read. This is small verse and purport, but any reflections or thoughts on that, because this is kind of very deep topic. We come from a background where we say that, oh, I can worship any devata what I want and that's equal, that's same. But it is not recommended according to Bhagavad Gita and in many scriptures. Actually, in the Padma Purana, there is a very nice verse where it says that even if somebody worships Brahmaji, if somebody considers Brahmaji or Rudra on the same platform as Narayana, then that person is considered as atheist or pashandi, or we also say sometimes as pakhandi. So it says that yastu narayanam devam brahma rudradi daivatam samatvena eva viksheta sa pashandi bhaved dhruvam. So one who considered that as Narayan on the same, or Brahma and Rudra, Brahma and Shiva also, forget about other devatas, these two prime deities, Brahma and Rudra or Shiva, as equal to Narayan or Krishna or Vishnu, then that person is considered as Pashandi or atheist, because he doesn't know the essence of the Vedas. He doesn't know the essence of the Dharma. So it's, yeah, so not all devatas are same. Worship of all devatas is not at the equal level according to Bhagavad Gita and our scriptures. So thank you. I'll stop here and we can get some reflections or thoughts.
हे मागं डिस्कशन झालं होतं, म्हणजे पूर्वी आपण गीता पठण चालू करायच्या आधी आपल्याला ह्या कल्पना नव्हत्या, पण मागे हे डिस्कशन आपलं झालं होतं त्याला, की गॉड्स, डेमी गॉड्स, डिफरंट प्लॅनेट्स, त्याला त्यामुळे याची थोडी कल्पना आधी आपल्याला होती.
येस, बहुतेक 7व्या अध्यायातल्या ज्या वर्सेस आपण वाचल्या, दोज वी वेंट थ्रू ऑलरेडी, सो प्रॉपरली याच वेळी डिस्कशन झालं असेल. अँड अगेन, बट important thing is it is repeatedly coming. Krishna is giving emphasis on that. It is not the same. But that does not mean that demigod worship or the devata worship is not good. Eventually we will read in the 14th chapter where we read the descriptions of the 3 modes of material nature. So people in the mode of goodness or satogun, they worship devata. People in the mode of passion or rajogun, they worship the yakshas and rakshasas or some material benefit that they can gain. People in worship, people in the mode of tamogun or mode of darkness or ignorance, they worship ghostly beings. So everything is included. So if you see, there are aghoris that Rajesh Prabhu had sent some video where there are aghoris, they are worshipping with skulls and other things, right? So that is also according to Vedic literature, that is recommended, but that is for the people who are in the darkest mode of tamogun. So, but people in mode of satogun, they worship devatas. But worship to Krishna is beyond that, beyond all the material modes of nature, beyond satogun, rajogun, tamogun. It is considered Brahma Bhuta state. So it is beyond everything. So it is Shuddha Sattvam. So yeah, that's what it is. But yes, we have had this discussion earlier. So thank you for bringing that, Sunil Prabhu. Any other thoughts, Prabhuji's? And there was one verse I was going to refer to you. I don't know if we have time or I can send you just for reading, but it's again, it is in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter, which is one of the very beautiful chapters. And then this is 27th verse, where where it is said that those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance worship those in the same category, namely the forefathers, other living beings, and demigods, who are in charge of cosmic activities. So people who are in Rajogun and Tamogun, they worship these type of living entities, for they are urged by the desire to be materially benefited with women, wealth, power, and progeny, because they are all wanting this. So here the purport is really beautiful. It clearly says, Prabhupada refers to these verses, what we read from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, that there is no need to worship demigods of whatsoever category if one is serious about going back to Godhead. If one is serious about getting free from this material entanglement, there is no need to worship any demigod, because all demigods can give is only material desires. They do not have authority or power to liberate us from this material entanglement. And here, this statement I like very much, that the aim of life is to end the miseries of life and not to increase this. But unfortunately, when we are worshipping demigods and asking for material boons like wealth, beautiful wife, progeny, and everything, we are actually asking for staying more and more in this material world, and by that way increasing our miseries. Here, to accept more material enjoyment means to bind oneself with more and more miseries in material entanglement. So that's why in all the scriptures it is recommended to have a simple living, high thinking. So that's what the gist of it is. And then this is in italic. One should work hard and worship the Supreme Lord by the fruits of one's hard labor for existence. That should be the motto of life. Very beautiful statement. I'll probably send this and you can read at your leisure something. But yeah, thank you, Prabhujis. Any other thoughts, Prabhujis? If not, we can stop here our discussion.